was sad to hear that Transformers Prime was pretty much done after third season, even though they're planning a continuation with Bumblebee as I guess it's 2D animated, and it will be a continuation. I'm really gonna miss Prime.
I always heard that was really good, but I actually never watched any of it myself. I haven't watched much past the original G1 and some of the, I guess, is it G2? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I'm old, and I remember the G1 stuff very fondly. Shut up. And the movie was traumatic, and then I watched a little bit of the other stuff like Ultra Magnus and Rodimus and all that stuff. But I think around about the time Beast Wars came out, I was like, not so much.
If you liked Generation 1 and you liked a lot of the stuff that they did, you'll probably appreciate Transformers Prime.
Okay. It looked nice. At least the animation, I saw some clips of it. It looked really nice.
Yeah, it's surprising. It took me. I don't know why this is with me, but it takes me a minute to get into shows with animation. Mm-hmm. But once I got into it, it really kind of felt like Transformers Generation 1 Mark II. Because I grew up with the shows. I love the shows. I still watch the show, the original series. And if it's one thing that I can say about the original series is they started a great thing, but as a fan though, when I watch Transformers, I swear to God, dude, they are like college, frat houses hazing each other from beginning to end. It's really kind of hilarious. There was an episode, and I'm probably going to be exaggerating a little bit on this, but bear with me, where Megatron had gone out, he might as well have just purchased the land, bought all the stuff he needed to build his tower, did all this stuff, and he was probably sitting there talking to Megatron, to Starscream, hey, we're building this thing, we're going to do this thing, we're doing everything legally, and Starscream's like, yes, Megatron, yes, it's wonderful, we're doing everything legal, here are the deeds to the land, and he's got all this stuff, and the Autobots have got nothing to do, and they're just kind of sitting around going, oh my God, what can we possibly do? Well, turn on the Decepticon channel, because apparently Teletran 1 has the Decepticon channel. And they're looking at Megatron, and Optimus is like, oh my God, they're building a thing, but they're doing it completely legal. You know what, let's go break it anyways. Let's just go break it. Because it can't be good. So they run in there, they break everything like it's a cloud of dust, and then they all freaking leave. And Megatron is just like, fuck it. Seriously, I did everything legally, and he still rolled in here and broke all my stuff, so I'm gonna blow up the planet now. It was amazing. I couldn't believe it.
Megatron, they destroyed your orphanage!
I know, Starscream, it's horrible. All these children will be lost.
What
time?
That's such a shame. We were going to put a small pet shop next to it.
I know!
And
you didn't let me know, Starscream. You failed me for the last time.
I did not!
Again!
I was going to put a soup kitchen next to it as well!
Soup sounds delicious!
Let's go out for soup!
Let's go!
Hey everyone, welcome!
He transforms into a gun and falls to the floor.
And you know what? That's how we're starting this episode. Hello everyone, welcome to FU. We're talking about Transformers this week with a whole bunch of chuckleheads.
Hello.
Hey everyone, so I am AC, also Josh. Nice to meet you. Five Irons with us.
Ew.
And we've got two of my old friends that are coming on. Pinkuh and Bonk both joining in, so thank you for both showing up.
No problem.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk a big mess of Transformers today, which unfortunately I have to admit that only knowing how... I guess I was Starscream. I know nothing about Transformers.
There is no escape.
There really isn't. The main reason I did this show was that I had a great fight with Five Iron on one of our last shows, where I kind of talked some mess about Transformers.
So, kinda. There's no kinda about this. honestly, I genuinely pity you for not having it in your childhood.
Well, wait. What was it you were messing on here? What was this?
I might have kind of. Well, I was saying it playfully, but may have kind of called Transformers trash.
You called you called Transformers trash?
Something like that. I was doing it playfully to Five Iron because I knew he was a fan of it. But the main thing is that I really want to understand, because it's one of those parts of my childhood I missed. Like it was just like 2 years before when I would have picked it up. So just like, what is everybody going crazy about this about? Well, you know, this is all about Eureka's Castle right now. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you go on about gummy bears and you rip on me for Transformers.
Gummy bears is the best.
Wow. Okay.
Gummy bears is the freaking best. So this is a learning experience for me. Okay, this is me trying to open myself up to new things, to new experiences. I really want to understand from a panel of people who are impassioned about this, so that I can understand why you enjoy robots that are in disguise, yet not really in disguise, because they're always running around as robots.
Well, in the movies, they especially this last movie, I don't think any of them really understood what transforming meant more than like 5 minutes out of the whole damn thing. Oh, forgive me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
And we will talk about that. I would love a movie review, because
I am sad because I haven't seen the movie.
I have seen the movie. I will probably be in the theater for every single Transformers movie that comes out. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But my overall review so far of all of the movies together is the first one had a very Transformy style, story. Though the Transformers were very, I don't know, I didn't really get a sense of good character with the Transformers in the first film at all. The only thing that kind of held it together for me really was Optimus Prime and Blackout, surprisingly, because Blackout was the only character that actually looked like a Transformer should probably look. Like, you could actually, he looks like a helicopter. That's easy. Optimus Prime looked like
a billion metal shards.
He had parts of a semi on him, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, he was really the only one that really kind of made me feel like there was a Transformer going on there. But you know what? Peter Cullen really could not do anything wrong in my eyes. So I will go to the movie just to listen to his voice. The second movie was horrible. Like, we won't even go into that one. The third movie got a lot better. Like, they started taking the property a little more seriously. And then the fourth movie takes that even a step further in many cases, because it's a much darker storyline. My biggest issue has always been the design of the Transformers.
Yeah, they look kind of just like pipe cleaner together. I'm not big on that.
A pipe cleaner together? It's amazing to me that we have these Transformers fighting each other, and they punch every now and then, they do that kind of thing, but man, when they reach in and grab a handful of stuff and rip it out, you're like, wow, it's like if I was in a fight with somebody and they pulled my intestines out, I can still go. That's awesome.
That's factual.
Let's keep going.
Yes, things like that. It's the art design or the art choice on this series of movies is kind of like, what?
Yeah, I get it.
My biggest problem with them is the fact that they seem wet. Like, everything is always spitting and dripping and drooling and peeing and everything else, and it's like
peeing.
We didn't.
Weird.
We didn't need Bumblebee peeing.
Oh God, no! See, that's one of the things I'm talking about. That seems completely out of character. Like, completely out. Like, they didn't even go back. The writers didn't even go. And I would love to say that it's all Michael Bay's fault. It's not all Michael Bay's fault. The writers wrote that in, okay? And Michael Bay was like, "Yeah, that's funny. Kids like that kind of stuff, so we'll just do it." They were very wet.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Yo, dog, these robots real wet.
They're drippy. Oh.
Well, we'll jump in. We got a big slot here for some Transformer talk. So we'll go from old to the new movies and everything. Get all the stuff on this. But let's go ahead and roll through first. Got some sponsors, got some news. So let's hit this up. First off, sponsor is SandyCon, coming in October for Nightmare Nights Dallas, which is just shield your ears for a little bit there, Bonk. It's a pony con in Texas. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Got show staff and everything. You've heard about it. Nightmare Nights Dallas. Go check it out. And my little thing, Audio Stratus, which is a online audio recorder for podcasts and stuff like this that I'm trying to build. If you are interested in recording audio on the internet in high quality, go over to that. That's audiostratus.com. Get on the mailing list, and it might get you in betas and further information about stuff as it transpires. I've got to pay off lawyers. Stuff keeps moving on it. That's about as much on that. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about some news that's come up in these past few days, these past few weeks since we've done another show. We've got Evo, we've got DashCon, Lindsay Lohan, Harrison Ford. If you've been on Tumblr, you've heard about DashCon. If you've been on anywhere.
I thought it was a joke. I thought the whole thing was like HorseCon, which was a prank for April Fools, and it's real, and oh god.
Have you, let's see, Pink or Bonk, have you heard about the whole DashCon thing?
Nope.
No. I do not.
All right, well, the basis
I'm assuming it sounds pretty quick, but if it is quick, that makes it 20% cooler, I'm assuming.
Oh, okay, you got it.
Oh, he knows some of this stuff, but it's not actually about Rainbow Dash, right?
Really.
It's not nothing to do with Pony.
No, it's actually a Tumblr convention. So it's a convention held by members of Tumblr who decided that they were going to have their own convention because why not us? So it's happening in it is the last day in Chicago right now. It's actually going on at this moment. But the reason it's become so popular over the past few days is because they've had some problems. Notably, the show notes includes 2 links, one of which is kind of an example of some of the stuff, the problems that they've run into, like at opening ceremonies having to ask for $17,000 because yo dog, we didn't read the contract and we owe $17,000. So if you could help out with $17,000 so we can actually start the convention, that'd be great.
So they started off with their LPU convention, huh? Yeah,
they didn't exactly get off to the get off great to begin with that. So that was their big thing, and people were kind of feeling very shrift by it because wait, we've already paid for this convention. Now we have the group that is here has to raise $17,000 to pay for the hotel because they suddenly said, "Hey, we need $17,000," and a lot of people felt like, "But I already paid for the con. Why do I have to pay again to?" All right, fine. So tossed more money at it and finally caused the convention to go. But there's just weird things of just tons of empty space. There's one whole enormous convention hall that they have that I guess is one of their panel rooms, but it's so ridiculously huge that they just put a bounce house and a ball pit in the back.
I saw that picture.
Yeah, and
it is the definition of sad.
I mean, yeah, if you click the link on the show notes, you can actually see the ball pit. You can actually just see this little kiddie pool that has a ball pit in it that just 4 or 5 people can get it in a time in this enormous room. It's pretty special.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. If there was a convention that I was gonna compare to Tumblr itself, there you go. It's a whole lot of noise and not a lot of substance.
Yeah, it's kind of it's very strange. And never want to see any con have any problems but we've encountered there's actually been a rash both in the pony community as well as just in other places of people putting on conventions and just either biting off more than they can chew or just not knowing that there's a lot of financials that has to go into these things and kind of dooming themselves in the process. You had something there, Pink, or?
Nah, just remembering my experience with said failures.
Oh, like, did you have any particulars?
We attempted to do a pony convention in Atlanta.
You
remember?
You did. Oh,
we attempted very valiantly.
But
luckily,
that was
we failed before like anything got too overly huge.
You pre-failed.
What was that called?
So
it's Winter Moon.
Whoa!
Well, you guys fell victim to the whole Hasbro lockout thing, didn't you? Because I'm thinking we were hearing about that convention. And it was like just before they started letting up. Like there was a time frame where you guys had to get all your contract stuff taken care of, and they had locked all the VAs out from doing stuff, wasn't it? Oh, I think we lost her.
Oh, we lost her. Yeah, that was.
Oh no.
She's like, I can't talk about this. Contractually, I cannot talk about this. No, I think that it was very much during that period where Hasbro was trying to figure out how it was going to handle, because the Bronies had just decided to make stuff so crazy with their like thousands of requests on Hasbro PR to try and be like, hey, can Lauren Faust come to my house and we can hang out?
Well, I mean, dude, to be fair, the whole pony thing is a huge phenomenon. Like, I may not necessarily be into it, but I don't deny the fact that it's generating, or it has generated a lot of media. It's generated a lot of stuff, period, as well.
Yeah.
So anything that gets fans involved is great.
Her comp crashed. That's how it works. But yeah, it was just one of those things. That convention that she had was very much a situation where Hasbro closed down and had to figure out. It was about a month later that they finally figured out of just like, yeah, we're going to make it so that the agents themselves have to account for it. So once I was like, oh, well, that's great. That means that this doesn't happen. So. Yeah. Okay, well, let's go ahead and move on. Yeah, that's DashCon. If you're not on Twitter or Tumblr, you may not have heard about it, but that's the craziness there.
If you're like me and you live under a rock, a transforming rock.
Oh, does that exist?
Oh, it's more than meets the eye. Or is that a Robert Burble? I don't know.
Is that one of like the bug bots? Is it?
The Robert Burble was something, I think it was in, or was it? Were those the meteorites? I can't remember. There was a meteorite that would transform, and I can't remember what show that was from. But the Robert Burbles were in Thundercats, so my bad.
Huh? Okay. Just a transforming rock. There you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If it transforms, you know about it, Bonk.
Oh no.
Let's see. Geek news. As for game stuff, we actually got some game news that's been going on. I know that Sandy's been keeping a close watch on Evo as that goes along, the fighting game tournament that's started this week. So they're doing a whole bunch of the punchies and the fights. And then Dota 2's doing their whole international at this point, so a lot of people playing Dota online. That I heard that they have like a ridiculous prize pool on that. It's gotten up to like $35 million. Yeah.
What?
You win Dota, you get a hunk of money. I
play Team Fortress 2, all I got is a hat.
Yeah. Well, it's because
thanks for players.
You can get hats on top of hats. No, I mean, it's the weird part of Dota, because they created specialty items. And if people purchased the specialty items, part of that money went to the prize pool. So people would purchase the specialty items, they'd go into the prize pool, increase the prize pool. Meanwhile, Valve's just sitting there, just flipping through dollar bills going, oh, my name's Gabe Newell.
Does he even pay attention to what's going on, or is he just being flooded by money? He probably just doesn't even know. It's like, I don't even know where this is coming from anymore.
Honey, I just tripped over a brand new car I bought.
Did we make something? I don't know. Thanks, Steam.
Oh,
what to say, Alon?
I remember back in the olden days, remember when Steam was terrible? Remember those early days where it's like, I have to buy Half-Life 2 and get this Steam thing that doesn't work? Oh, gross. This is terrible. Man, I really hate this Steam thing. And then it took about 5 years and it's just like, I buy everything on Steam. Why would
seriously?
Why would I ever buy anything elsewhere? I can do everything I want on Steam now. So
that's what I do.
Hey.
Here.
We're talking about Evo and Dota 2 and mostly how Steam is ruling everything.
No,
I have to admit, I do love my Steam.
Yeah, it's pretty addicting.
Yep.
It is. Dude, you're addicted when a sale pops up and you're buying games that you've not even played, that you're not going to play. Okay? Dude, I have a list of, it's got to be 200 games. Am I really going to play all these games? Why am I buying all these games? But there they are.
Because they're on sale.
Exactly, they're on sale. Oh, $2 for this game. That looks interesting. Play it for 10 minutes. It was okay. I don't play it again.
But when it's $2, how can you possibly have any problem with that? You know, it's just like, it's $2.
No, well, that's just it though. I mean, you see a game that even looks remotely interesting. It could be awful, but it's $2, so it's $2. So you're gonna get it. You're gonna play it for a hot minute, and that hot minute will tell you whether or not it's a good game or not, and that's it. So what I love Steam for more than anything else is the fact that I get access to a lot of indie titles. That's what I love. And there's some good ones out there. There's some bad ones. I've fallen for that one too, but there's some good ones out there.
Let's see. I noticed the show just stopped, so I have to restart that piece. But yeah, it's pretty fantastic. Just everything on that with how Steam has transformed, and just Gabe Newell sitting there with the stack of money, just going like, let's just buy it all. Sure, let's make a console. Why not?
Yeah, I think the console is a great idea for them, only because people don't actually like. Unless you have a PC, you're not going to have access to Steam. So what do? They put a console out. Now everybody has access to Steam. And personally, I think that would be the system that I would want to buy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's what I would want.
I don't have any consoles right now, but if I were going to buy one, it would definitely be a Steam box.
Steam box would be up there, and I think right now for me it's PS4 is the only one that I'm actually looking at to buy, because there are certain titles that are going to come out on there. See, Xbox, I used to really care about Halo. I used to love Halo a lot. I still love Halo. But when you put out a game that's like 5 hours long on hard and then expect me to want to do all this stuff online and multiplayer, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
I really wanted more. Like, Halo 4 was gorgeous, but I just don't care now. You're not going to sell me on a game that isn't geared towards me. But anyways, back to the PS4. I have a huge interest in games that are coming out from Naughty Dog, mainly, pretty much any of the Nathan Drake games, or definitely want to play the next Last of Us game when that finally comes out. So I'm...
Well, you see, the thing that they've got to, like, the consoles, they have to make a change. Steam's killing them in the fact that I've changed computers 3 times now, and the games I had on the first computer, I still have on my new computer. And I can't do that when I change from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, because now they're not being retro compatible anymore, or especially not cloud-based. If I lose the disc, I'm screwed. They've got to make a change there if they want to be competitive.
No, I agree, and I think that there is a change coming. And the systems, well, Xbox has already tried to do it with there were talks of not having a disc drive and going completely digital, and of course everybody was up in arms about that, but really I don't think people really paid attention to what Xbox was trying to do, myself included. It wasn't until after the whole fiasco went down that I was like, oh, they were actually going to allow you to let 10 people, to like 10 of your friends, borrow your games if you want. I mean, I don't even know 10 people that I'd want to like lend games. I mean, I know tons of people, but I don't know people that would want to play the same games that I play necessarily.
I think all that anybody remembers from that previous conference you're talking about was just let it happen.
Yeah.
They shot themselves in the foot with that, and everything else was just burning in flames.
What's even worse is that it's not even them. It wasn't even them that said that. It was the people, like the game company that was up there representing them. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it's funny. There's so many people want. I'm not even going to go into that. That's a whole bag of worms unto itself. I personally was hoping that Xbox One was going to kind of fall on its face, anyways, because I'm not happy with how they're handling anything anymore. I'm not happy with how they're doing their games and whatever. Mm-hmm. Moving right along.
Yep. Let's see. Let's see. So, still speaking on video games. Which of us have actually played GTA 5? Has that been on most everybody's radar?
Yeah.
Nope.
I loved it. I loved it. I loved it even though it was kind of, the ending was very fast. Like, it's just one of those things of like, yay, we're finally doing the big heist done. That's it? Oh, well, okay. I guess that's how we're ending this. Had a very strange, just felt strange, all this setup and all these, like, playing around with these characters. It's just like, all right, you did this thing. All right, done. So.
Yeah, it's not the first time that's been done, though. I mean, you take a look at Rage.
Yeah,
Let's just end this game abruptly. Of course, then again, I'm pretty sure that GTA 5 was all around just a better adventure anyways.
It was good. I actually want to get the if you've seen the comparison on the PC version. The PC version looks gorgeous. Holy smokes, it looks great. Yeah, just there's some really good comparison stuff where it's just like you can see waves actually crashing up onto the rocks. It's like, okay, that's really awesome.
That's PC, though.
They need to port GTA 5 to next gen, and they'd make a killing.
I believe that's on the. That's probably on the. On. Actually, I'm pretty certain that's one of the next things that they're doing. Is just like, hey, there's going to be a GTA on new consoles, and they were like, yeah, guess what? It's GTA 5. So I'm pretty certain that's coming. But yeah, Lindsay Lohan decided that she's going to sue Rockstar Games over GTA 5.
Why?
Because there is a character, Lacey Jones, in it that is a childhood star actress who is kind of crazy. So the mission that you use her, she's got to drive around, and she doesn't want to get pictures taken by the paparazzi as she goes around and does drugs and does a whole bunch of other crazy stuff. But she's very particular, like, but don't kill the paparazzi. I still need them to take pictures of me so that I stay in the limelight. But, just don't kill them because that'll be bad publicity.
Michael Crichton had a critic write nasty things about him. And as retaliation, he wrote a story with I think a pedophile or something like that, with a very similar name to that critic. And he did this knowing that if the guy ever came after him, he would have to admit the similarities here. Does Lindsay Lohan realize what she's doing? That she's basically saying, yeah, that's what I
was going to say.
Yeah, that's what I do.
It's amazing to me.
This is me. I'm this idiot.
Yeah, well, no, that's just it. It's amazing to me that she can see herself in that character, that she can identify that. That's amazing. I don't know if I would want to take part in that.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a lose-lose for her. Like, what are you doing? I mean, are you digging below rock bottom?
It's like she's brought attention to herself now, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that is her, isn't it?"
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Sometimes when things like that happen in media, you just need to just let them go and let people speculate, because when you say something and it's about you, all you're doing is giving justification to it. Just stop.
Well,
just don't do it.
And the thing is that there's plenty of other child stars that this could be. I mean, the basis of it is just simply a a child star who is exiled from her parents and spent millions of dollars in an attempt to lose their regional accent, and just goes or is pretty much just one of those for essentially airhead, California Hollywood starlets. She's kind of putting just like, hey, supposedly this is me. I'm upset. Also, if I sue GTA, it gives me more publicity because everyone knows GTA.
Well, maybe she hasn't had enough limelight. Maybe she wants more, and that's why she's doing this. So it could be a publicity stunt. There you go.
It's a publicity stunt just for both GTA and her, and it just it'll just vanish. But it's just like, did you hear Lindsay Lohan did a thing again?
All those handshakes and contract signings and behind doors and in dark rooms.
Collusion. Next we find out she's got a DLC.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's called The Lohan.
Oh, rim shot.
Oh God.
So we got that. Let's see. And I'm happy to hear that there was an update to the next news article. I really should just have a Nathan Fillion segment to the show, just because he's so.
Because he's awesome.
He's so dreamy.
Yes, make this happen.
So this is now confirmed, and I hope this isn't going to be a horrific spoiler to anyone listening. But Nathan Fillion is going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's going to have a part.
He should be.
He's going to have a cameo.
A cameo. So he's going to show up as Nova. Let's see, who is pretty much a intergalactic space cop.
He's the Marvel Green Lantern, kinda.
That's perfect. That's perfect. He did the voice of Green Lantern.
Yes, he did.
That's perfect.
It was their mistake for not choosing him for Green Lantern.
No shit. He would have been so much better. I hate that other guy.
The guy that's been like 3 superheroes thus far and hasn't made us believe him in any of them.
Poor Ryan Reynolds.
I'm the Human Torch.
I like Ryan Reynolds. I don't have any problems with him as a. Well, he was. I
hated him.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I hated him in what was it, Wolverine?
Yeah, he was playing not Deadpool.
Not Deadpool.
The anti-Deadpool.
And then he played the Green Lantern, which was awful. I'm sorry. It was just absolutely awful. And he's done something else.
Wasn't he the Human Torch at one point in the
No, that's
no.
You're thinking he was in one of the Blade movies, I think.
Yes, he was actually.
Oh yeah, he was.
But he was the best thing in Blade 3. Like to me, he was the best thing in Blade 3.
Well, that just simply speaks to Wesley Snipes at that point.
Well, good Lord, it's Wesley Snipes. I mean, how can you play the same stoic, never-changing character and expect people to believe it? I mean, really.
Wesley Tax Evasion Snipes.
Anyway.
Wesley, 2 to 3 years in incarceration Snipes.
So I don't necessarily blame Ryan Reynolds for not doing a good job necessarily. I blame the writers and the directors on those. Of course, like Green Lantern as a film, if that movie had come out hot off the heels of back in the day when Spider-Man had originally come out, it probably would have been just fine.
Oh yeah.
Because it's roughly, not to diminish the old Spider-Man films, it's roughly the same caliber around there. Not as probably well thought out, but we're about the same caliber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of course.
So I mean, that's good. Nathan Fillion, we all love him. He's a great man.
Yes.
He is.
Captain Tight Pants.
For president, for whatever he wants. Nathan.
And his show Castle is pretty funny too.
Here it's fantastic, yeah.
It can get repetitive, but it's for the most part it's a good show.
I hear he does it pretty well, and that it's. I'm happy to see him get steady work. That's the main thing.
Yes.
Well, who knows? Maybe Netflix will stand up one day and say, "We're going to continue Firefly," and everyone will come back.
That would be so amazing.
Yeah. That's not a spoiler. That's not even real. That's wishful thinking on a fan's part.
Well, there were those rumors for a while of like, "Hey, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it."
Well, I still think that's wishful thinking, though. I think people were hoping they were gonna do it.
Wasn't there a Kickstarter? started to try and buy the property from Fox?
Was there?
Oh, probably.
Maybe it was a fan petition. I'm sorry.
That.
I think it was a fan petition. I take that back because he eventually addressed it, saying, if I won the lottery and won $360 million, I'd try and buy it, but still, it wouldn't. Not going to happen.
Yeah, which makes no sense to me. Fox just wanted him back on doing Buffy and whatever that other Angel.
Yeah,
that's at least that's what it seemed like.
It's like just do those some more. The one that made us a bunch of money. You can continue that. Just I'm seeing it now. Buffy, the Next Generation.
Oh, please don't.
She gets reincarnated into a second Buffy, and now we just retell the same story again.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Joss Whedon is just like this with a gun, just shaking.
No, we need Avengers 3. Don't do it.
Oh my goodness. I'm not going to argue the fact that those shows were good for their time.
I admit to never actually. I know that Sabrina has recently watched Buffy all the way through. I really have never seen them, so to me, I just kind of go like, "Well, this is interesting." Okay. See, it is
all you can do.
It is akin to my Transformers. Like, I guess that looks okay. All right. So, all right, and finally, the big news of 2 weeks ago. I'm sure you probably already heard. Harrison Ford got injured on Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Prop came down on his leg. Door came down.
You mean the Millennium Falcon came down on his leg?
You've been gone too long. Gosh.
That's exactly what it was. It was just an angry moment that Millennium Falcon said, "Yeah, I bet you won't forget me this time."
You left me.
You left me.
You left me for that harlot. You decided that you wanted to be a prince or something or whatever's in the script.
I can't even. I mean, I'm not even cautiously optimistic toward this stuff. I'm just like, oh, please don't screw it up. Just make it passable. If we get another Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't.
Well, I don't think you're going to. I think I'm actually very optimistic about how Disney is going to be handling Star Wars. The last thing I read was the fact that they're going to be treating it very much like their Marvel properties, and you're going to get movies like you can have a Han Solo movie, a Boba Fett movie that's going to lead into another episode movie. And I was like, okay, I can deal with that.
I hope you're right. I just you got so much. You got Disney here, and just what happened with the last 3 Star Wars movies.
Let me ask you.
Here's the thing: as a person that used to work for Disney while this purchase was happening,
are you to blame? Did you do this?
No, I'm not to blame. I am not to blame.
Okay.
I'm just a simple lowly artist. But as somebody that used to work there, the whole entire feeling with everything going on was, we have to bring it back to what it was for A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and everything else. So they've hired Jim Henson Studios. They've hired a whole bunch of the old studios that are coming in, and they're trying to make it they don't want to use CG like a crutch like they had been in the first 3 movies. So they have gone out of their way to make freaking amazing things happen.
I appreciate the fact that they're trying to go back to their roots, but you know what I want them to be cautious of? Because it wasn't the special effects that killed those movies for me. It was that god-awful story. It was that characters that you don't care about. It's the I'm not going to let you act Ewan McGregor. I want you to be, stupid. It's not I'm not going to let you act Liam Neeson. You have to be dry and boring. Okay? That's what I want to be careful of, because really the feel of Star Wars in the background was there. Everything was there that I needed visually to pull me into Star Wars. But that story was awful.
Have you watched any of the Clone Wars animated series?
I love the Clone Wars.
I'm just starting it out.
It is freaking amazing.
You're gonna have to get through first season, buddy.
Yeah, first season.
You're the second person to warn me on that. It's like because I was hyped for the prequels. I skipped school to go to the prequels, and it was like, what? I want to like this. I'm going to ignore those things and say this was a good movie. Same thing I did the first time I saw Crystal Skull. I was like, no, it's indie. I've waited 20-some years for this. I swinging Shia LaBeouf with CG monkeys, and now they're doing something else with Star Wars. I'm hoping you're right. I really am, because Star Wars used to be my jam, and it's not anymore.
Star Wars, I still love a good Star Wars, but I also still love a good Star Trek and Transformers, and they're kind of ruining, some of those things. Like, well, not Star Trek. I think Star Trek, the reboot for Star Trek has been absolutely brilliant, and I think J.J. Abrams on Star Wars is probably the best director to start that with Star Wars. I think he's perfect for that. Some people are like, he's gonna have lens flares everywhere. I'm like, I don't care. give me a story and characters I can get behind.
I can take some lens flares over some made up last season. How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, we don't know how we're going to end this show, so we'll just, they all go to heaven.
Yeah.
They're gonna go to they all go Hawaiian, just like Beetlejuice.
Yeah. But I was sorry to hear that 60 plus or 70 plus Harrison Ford got injured on set, and apparently it was a bad injury. Like, they first said, "Oh, it's not anything. He'll be back on set in a few weeks," but then they were like, "Oh, now it's going to be like months. Like, it's going to be like half a year."
It crushed his foot and his tibia and fibia.
Ooh.
He had to be metallically put back together.
So he's more machine now.
He's more of the machine now.
Someone could now cut off his foot, and it'd just be those servo parts.
Well, now Harrison Ford has something in common with most of the other characters in Star Wars.
And
everybody's losing limbs.
Here's a big rumor that I've been hearing, that Harrison Ford wouldn't sign back on to the series unless Han Solo died.
You know what? I will accept that as a rumor right now, because really, I love Harrison Ford and he does have a lot of clout, but that is a multi-million-dollar character, which means that if they do kill him off, anything that has to do with Star Wars dealing with Han Solo, which they have announced a Han Solo movie, is going to be difficult without him, or it's going to be hopefully Nathan Fillion in the past.
It's young Han Solo with Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is now the original Han Solo. Hi, I'm little Han Solo. Don't look at me like that, Alpha 5 Iron.
No,
not even a little. No, no humor at all.
No laughs. Only tears.
No. Zero.
It makes
Seething
me feel
rage.
dirty.
Let's see. But yeah, so that's that's going on. I said, yeah, I'm pretty optimistic for the Star Wars, because it does seem like after the prequels, they kind of went, I think we may have messed up. I think we might have burned a lot of goodwill. Well,
to be fair for George Lucas here, let's take a look at his track record. The man was a god after Star Wars, even including Return of the Jedi, which I will still argue the point was the beginning of what we have now. Okay, most people don't look at it that way, but if everything had gone like the way it should have gone, that would have been on Kashyyyk and not with Ewoks. Yeah. Okay, that's the way it was originally supposed to go. But he decided to change that himself. Anyways, to go back to what I was originally saying, the man was a god. Like, he had done Indiana Jones. He had started a new effects company. It was doing awesome. Everyone loved him. The Star Wars movies were done. Indiana Jones came out. The man was doing no wrong. Even after Temple of Doom, which is now a good part of the Indiana Jones series, he was doing great. And then everyone hears that, we're going to remaster the movies, we're going to put new special effects in, we're going to add in deleted scenes, which everyone was like, yeah, that's great. And then really what we got was not what we wanted. That was not too good.
It wasn't just special effects. They changed character traits, like Han shot first, or
Han shot first.
He didn't. Yeah.
No, agreed, and that was a big one. And Han shooting first was a huge thing, and most people like to downplay it, but that was his character. That's who he was, and then he changed. Han being a very dynamic character made him very interesting and awesome.
Yep.
And it was unfortunate that they did that. But anyways, when they came out with the new series, the new movies, I swear, dude, I think George Lucas was sitting in whatever office it was that he was writing these movies in, going, they are going to love this. And the they that he's speaking of are the fans. And we really didn't pick up on that because it just did not work. He wanted too much, and he offered everyone that was in it too little. And when I say too little, like the ability to expand on the characters, he just did not. He just didn't. It just didn't work.
I think honestly that like everything he had down would have worked perfectly if he had stepped back and let somebody else direct it.
I think that would have helped quite a bit. I think giving Anakin proper motivation would have also helped. Like, simply, Anakin had a dream about Jedi coming to free the slaves. Well, let's give Anakin the motivation to free the slaves. Because at that point, that means he gets to be at odds with pretty much everyone who says, no, let's not free the slaves. Let's not do that. And that would, of course, have been the Jedis, and then he would have had Palpatine going, I wish I could help you, but my hands are tied, and the Jedis won't let me do it, and so forth and so on. It really would have just kind of written itself from that point. But
yeah.
Did we lose somebody?
Just 5-Iron had to roll out for something real fast. He gave me the thumbs up, so I think he's just stepping away for a sec. We've had that discussion, Bonka, like the differences of like, hey, these are the cool things that they could do if they just would have had, if they just would have had Anakin be some sort of like, well, the reason he's doing this is because he grew up a slave and he wanted to remove the slavers, and the Emperor was pretty much like, hey, dude, I could let you do all this stuff that the Jedis won't let you do.
Definitely.
It would have been a story where it's just like, oh, you can feel empathetic because he's trying to do the right thing. He's just, and then he could then blame the Jedi Council for not, allowing him to do it and letting his mom die. And then it becomes an easy story that doesn't have to divert into, oh, well, there's this political thing that's happening where there's a trade federation.
Yeah, if they started with old Anakin, like started like Revenge of the Sith, that would have been a good starting point for 3 movies.
Yeah, the Revenge of the Sith would have been a good starting point, but I still think that it would have been good to just start with the Clone Wars. Like, just start right there with the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
introduce him there. Let the decline just kind of happen from that point.
I agree.
I think that would.
I take back what I said. I like that. I like that idea better.
So they would have that way. We would have gotten a really gradual decline, and Anakin's turn to the dark side would be something that everyone in the theater could have sat there and gone, if I had been in your situation, I would have done the exact same thing, because I couldn't save my mom because the Jedi said that I cannot go to free the slaves. But if I had gone when my instincts told me to go, I would have saved her. It's your fault. Okay? And that whole thing, when he goes to Palpatine and he basically hits Sith puberty and his voice drops and all that craziness happens, that wouldn't have really happened as much as it would have been Darth Vader telling Emperor Palpatine that we are the only people that know this. This is what I'm going to do to prevent this, and this is how it's going to play out. And that would have been the moment where, as Vader left the room, the entire time, the only thing you'd have heard the Emperor do is laugh and cackle on the way out as Darth Vader walks past the camera. Now, how chilling of a scene would that have been?
It would have been one of those scenes where, opposed to the end of the end of that trilogy, where you were just like, well, that was great. you would have been like, oh, I feel so bad. Like, I feel so terrible that just like this situation has happened where this character that had the best intentions feels like he had to go this direction.
Yeah, it felt very forced.
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah. But then we wouldn't have the wonderful things like the Noller coaster.
And Padme just randomly dying from a broken heart.
But I could have lived without that. I would have been happier in my life without those moments.
Remember when
I am convinced that she did not die from a broken heart. I'm convinced she died from a pulmonary fucking embolism because I had one of those shits right after I got pregnant and it sucked balls.
Well, and she had twins there, so yeah. And you know, that's another thing. I know we're getting off on a Star Wars rant here, but I hated the fact that Padme was just like, now that I've had my 2 kids that I should be living for, that I should love, and all of these things, I'm just gonna die. Fuck those kids. I'm sorry, forgive me. I didn't mean to say that. You know, I'm just gonna die. I think it would have been better if she had survived, and maybe later on we could have gotten another movie or something like that would have been her, you know, pining over the fact that Anakin is dead or he's gone or whatever.
Also,
Mom,
there's something that
why are you
happens
so
in
sad?
one of the. There's something that happens in one of the later movies where Leia says, I remember our mother. How could she remember her mom while she's like, you know, just slipping out of the chute there? I mean, she didn't even really
Force.
see it.
I'm sorry. Midichlorians.
If there was a
mistake,
if there was a mistake at the prequels, it was that. You took all the mystery out of the Force, trying to make it science.
I realized something really interesting, and maybe I'm reaching here, and if I am, I'm really sorry. I realized that maybe this was in the Star Wars, the Clone Wars. Maybe this is where I got it from. But the midichlorians are not where the Force comes from. And I was like, well, okay, that's cool. That means the Force is still this magical, mysterious thing. So what are the midichlorians? The midichlorians are basically like the little pin connectors on like a video game cartridge. The more of them you have, the better a game and faster it's going to be. And I was like, okay, well, that makes a lot more sense. I can't remember where I read that or who explained that to me. And I was like, okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. But that means that you could have dudes running around injecting themselves with like hundreds of thousands of midichlorians.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they're freaking awesome, but only for a little while until the midichlorians are deposited into their colon and expelled.
Well, I kind of like...
That's what spice is.
Yeah, I kind of...
Yeah, spice.
I kind of like the idea on that, because then you could also just simply have regular schmoes that are just like, go along their entire life just like, oh, I'm a mechanic. Oh, just work on all these parts. Meanwhile, you just find out that there's some sort of crazy Force-attuned person and just never knew about it. They end up being 80 years old and just go like, oh, dude, you could have been a great Jedi. Like, well, crap. Thanks.
I'm the greatest Jedi ever.
Oh, I love that.
Well, perhaps you, Jar Jar. Really? No. God, no. No. No.
Oh, all right. All right, that's my one cool thing.
The show about Transformers has suddenly turned into a show about Star Wars.
I know, really. So let's go ahead and roll into Transformers, because you guys can roll into that. Meanwhile, I'm pulling up the Star Wars Lost Hope, so I can add that as my one cool thing, because that is the best thing ever. Oh. Now screwed we will be.
I didn't draw that. It's right here. Clear as purple crayon. Well, you have been quite the poo-poo head.
Oh, 5 Iron. I know you don't know what this is about, but it's the best thing ever.
I would look it up and watch it.
Hope.
A Lost Hope.
I will.
Yeah,
that sounds fantastic.
It'll be my one cool thing. It's the best play. It was released after the last Star Wars movie. Some people just parodied everything that happened in it, and it's the absolute best worst thing. The
really is.
the Padme with the enormous belly.
Pee on this.
Oh no! All right, we're giving too much away. More. Keep it coming. All right. All right. So let's Transformers. What's this Transformers thing, 5-Iron? Explain it to me.
It is the best thing that you were not part of in your childhood.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Moving on. Let's see. One cool thing to so.
A race of robotic aliens that crash land on Earth back in the dinosaur times, and then are reawoken during, I guess, what would be modern times for their story back in the 80s during the day. I'm not doing a very good job. Do you want to take over, Bonk?
Oh, well, let me see here.
I know you're more.
It was originally a Cybertronian war over Cybertron, also dealing with Energon. And when the planet was lost, the Autobots decided to leave, and well, they were followed by Megatron because Megatron has a hard time letting go of things. So on the way back, there was a fight through space, and when that happened, well, they lost control of everything. They crash landed on Earth, which is really funny because what's that?
They all went into stasis.
They went into stasis. But what was really funny about it, as far as the show is concerned, they landed during the dinosaur time of the dinosaurs, but it was only like 1 million years later. Which, I was like, wow, 1 million years ago there were dinosaurs running around. I thought it was 65
biblical
million.
Dinosaurs.
Biblical dinosaurs. So the volcano erupts. It lodges a couple of things. Teletran 1 launches a probe to go out and scan everything. And being the unbiased machine that it is, just starts bringing dudes back. And of course, he brings back the Decepticons first, and it all goes downhill from there. That's the original series, though.
Mm-hmm. And so
up until this point.
And so they're fighting. They've got a whole bunch of lasers. Nobody has to escape out of planes and parachutes in this one. That's G.I. Joe.
It's G.I. Joe.
Yeah. So they're fighting. The Decepticons are the bad ones for the most part, as far as I'm aware. The Autobots are the good ones because they're the cars. And then they fight. And what are they trying to fight for?
Oh, good lord! They're fighting over energy.
The control of their energy,
which happens to also at this point be Earth's energy, and the Decepticons oil, pretty much anything they can convert, everything from oil to these weird red rubies to solar power, and they're you got good old Soundwave making Energon cube containers, and then they pour drunk. Oil into it. They got that episode. They they all pour it was always amazing to me that they could just pour these raw energies into these cubes that apparently didn't require any kind of energy for Soundwave to make. He would just have them, and then they would convert the oil and diamond stuff and all this stuff, automatically convert it into an energy. And press it. They would press the cubes down. This is what a lot of people don't remember. They would press the cubes down, and that's what turned them into Energon.
That does seem familiar. Yeah, I remember them like having like a stack of 3 and then squishing it down like it was Play-Doh or something.
Exactly, and they would be thinner and smaller, but they are now Energon. And I was like, okay, well, that works.
Space science. Can't argue with that.
Future science.
I think you mentioned the dinosaurs a million years ago. I just pictured Bill Nye's face like...
Yeah, I don't think he'd probably approve of that too much. Probably, yeah, no, I don't think so. But the show really has these two warring factions who, according to Optimus Prime in the later movies, we were a peaceful planet until somebody decided to be a butthole, and that butthole, of course, would be Megatron. But that's not exactly. They've added a lot more to the canon, which has been really good for the Transformers. And after that, the whole planet was being fought over, and it just wasn't,
Well, it's like, and it also it also like for G1 and stuff like that, that's pretty much it. It's like weren't they actually built by the Quintessons in G1?
The original concept was that they were built by the Quintessons, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. But like in some of like the comics and stuff like that, as it turns out, the Cybertron is actually just a gigantic planet and it is Primus, which is their god.
Yeah, that's what always kind of like was perplexing to me, because you have original canon versus new canon that has been popping up. Originally, the Cybertron was built, and it was made to be a facility that the Quintessons could sell war machines or building machines. And it wasn't until much later on that they decided to kind of change that a little bit, and they said, well, Primus is where the Transformers come from, and Primus is, that is the starting... They
actually established that fairly early on, though, because the comics, from the comics from the 80s actually had huge story arcs about it, and the end of the comic series goes on about the past of the actual Transformers.
Well, then there might be a discrepancy between the original cartoon and the comic books.
Oh yeah,
because
there are.
At the time, I tried, like, my brother and I got into conversations about this all the time when we were kids, but there were huge differences between the comic books and the TV show. Of course, I mean, but by comic book 5, Marvel Comics, Shockwave had killed all the Transformers, and basically beat the crap out of Megatron, had the Decepticons working with him, and Optimus Prime's head so he could talk to it. And
yeah, I remember that.
That's book 5. I mean, we haven't really, and I mean that was a huge thing back then, because I love that cover, because it's Shockwave standing there, and it's just got Transformers. They're all dead, and I was like, that is a fantastic cover. I love this guy. So, but yeah, I have no problem accepting like all of the like Primus and Unicron and all that kind of stuff. I love all that stuff, anyways, even if it doesn't always work in conjunction with the original series. So, I'm good with that.
So what is the thing about Transformers that is it for you? Like why there's been plenty of, hey, this is a robot thing with some kids running around, and there's been plenty of those kind of shows that have come and gone. What about this show has such a lasting power with you guys?
I can say for me, it was always Optimus Prime. He was like childhood hero. He's the coolest character in that he always tries to do what's right, even if it's not easy. And I don't know, I might be looking at this through nostalgic glasses, but I just always liked that character. Even, after I stopped watching the show as a kid, he stuck with me. And hearing Peter Cullen do the voice for the movies, I mean, that's what got me for the first movie. Second one still got me there. Didn't want to see any more after that, but I think
I'm sorry.
I haven't seen the third. No, that's okay. I have not seen the third one, and I'm debating on the fourth one.
I would suggest watch the third one first, then watch the fourth one, because I think you need a little bit of that foundation, because the fourth movie does spin a lot off of what they did in the third movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they had Leonard Nimoy, and given his previous contributions to the universe, there, I kind of figured what was going to happen, and ta-da!
Yeah. But for me, I have to agree. Optimus Prime was a huge thing for me, and the character throughout, from the very beginning up till now, has really only gotten better and more fleshed out. Optimus Prime, when I was a kid, Optimus Prime was a soldier that was pretty much given, I would say, a raw deal. Like, this is what you have to work with. These are your people. You have to save them. And I love the fact, as time went on, I love the fact that people kept saying, why doesn't Prime just kill Megatron? Why does it just kill him? And I came up with a thought about that. And I said, because Megatron, and I believe this is actually canon, Megatron came up from the pits of Kaon. He was a gladiator, but there are a few things that don't make sense with that. But he came up as a gladiator, but he stood, at the time, he stood for the right things. And Orion Pax looked up to him. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it wasn't until later on that, of course, he was proven wrong. And Megatron, he went from, was it Megatronus? He became Megatronus, and he started doing the wrong things. And I like to think that Optimus Prime, when he sees Megatron, he has to believe that, at least until he killed him and later on, but he has to believe that Megatron can be saved, because Megatron, to Optimus Prime, was the hero, and without being able to save him, what chance do any of us have?
Yeah. I don't know if this is I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I don't know if this is from the cartoon. I'm pretty sure it's in the movie, but there was always one line that I liked that Optimus said, and I think I'm saying it right. It was something along the lines of "Freedom is the right of all sentient beings." And I'm not trying to sound all America, but that was just, that is the embodiment of a good leader. I like that in the character.
You want to hear something really cool about that line?
Yes.
All right. Back before the first Transformers, live-action Transformers movie came out, there was a whole thing. It was you could type into the website, and you could make Optimus Prime speak. And it was a contest to see who could come up with a good line that could be added into the movie that Optimus Prime would say. Well, of course, everybody was putting in there, one shall stand, one shall fall, and, all that wonderful stuff. But somebody put in there that exact line.
Really?
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. And it's not just a great line, it is an embodiment of that character. Like, whoever came up with that line knew Prime, knew him as a character. Yeah. And I was like, that's brilliant. And I was really glad that was put in there, because it's one of the best things that has come from the movies for me. So I have to agree with that. That's fantastic. How about you, Pinkuh?
Well, I actually got into Transformers because of you.
I'm sorry.
I went over to Bonk's house one night, and he said, "Oh, let's watch the Transformers movie. But you're not going to know what's happening, so you won't really feel it like we did." But then he launched into an explanation of his RPG that he was doing at the time.
Oh,
and
Lord.
Bonk just doesn't do RPGs, you see. He has music playlists and everything else set up, so as he starts describing this RPG, he's like playing music in the background of what this what's going on.
Wait, is Stan Bush's The Touch in there? Please tell me it is.
I think it might have played once or twice.
But it's like he has this folder called The Awesome and the Epic, and it's like all of the trailer songs, the da, 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 the big super music that's gets you really hyped up for things. Yeah, he was playing that in the background the whole entire time. But it started
very
with that.
Cinematic.
And so I actually I had visited his house, I think, for 2 or 3 weeks, and then I actually went home and I started watching G1 from the start. And so I watched all of G1, and then I watched all of Armada, and I watched all of Energon, and I watched all of the series up to the current series that was coming out at the time called Transformers Animated. And Animated is actually where it really gripped me, because in that series, more or less the story is, Optimus Prime is actually a he's a troubled space bridge worker is what it is. He actually had a chance at the Academy, and while he's there, he winds up making several mistakes that wind up making him lose his chance at being, a really good military commander, and he winds up getting put in charge of, repairing space bridges and the like. The whole entire time there's actually this big, social movement going on in the Transformers universe revolving around the Decepticons, and they've actually chased the Decepticons off of Cybertron, and they're actually living on their own planet and everything else, and so everything on Cybertron for the most part is peaceful. And they're out there working on space bridges, and suddenly Megatron and Starscream and the whole crew shows up, and they find the Allspark. Because just randomly working on this thing, they find the Allspark, and so they actually all wind up going through the space bridge and, wind up on Earth. Well, Megatron actually winds up in dire straits, and the other space bridge workers have absolutely no way of contacting Cybertron to tell them, hey, we're on Earth, so are the Decepticons, and we have the Allspark. And so they wind up starting to live on Earth and, integrate with Earth and, try and do their thing and, just kind of lay low. And a guy named Sumdak actually winds up finding Megatron's head. And he's like, oh, what is this new awesome piece of technology? And so he takes Megatron's head and he builds a robotics empire on top of the technology that he finds in Megatron's head. Well, at one point, Megatron actually wakes up and makes Sumdak repair him through being extremely nice. And so, then it's like, of course, Megatron finally rebuilt. It's like, oh, we've got to grab the Allspark and go back and reclaim our glorious planet and blah, 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 blah. But, I mean, as it goes on, I mean, it's much more aimed for kids, but at the same time, it was such an amazing story. It, caught me. Because in this story, it's like, the Decepticons were more or less secondary citizens. Megatron had started out as a miner and then became a gladiator just like normal. But instead of being able to rise up against everybody, against Ultra Magnus and Sentinel Prime and all those folks, he was more or less defeated and pushed aside, and all of this unfairness that was happening on the planet still existed. So it's really, really interesting, and that's really what got me into it.
So you're saying that this sounds more and more like the Anakin storyline we just talked about, where it's just like at the beginning it's just like, man, we're bad guys, let's go beat up the good guys, and now it's suddenly like, no, he was hurt and he was wounded, and he was an outcast in his own society, so he's got reasons to be mad, and the good guys aren't as good as pure as they seem, and.
Well, and what's cool about it is that while the Autobots themselves may not necessarily be as good as in the previous incarnations of it, Optimus and his team are. So it's like he's still the pure-hearted hero that everybody knows and loves, but he's just young and trying to figure out how to fix things. And of course, he has no support in doing so.
I think that's one of the things that I like about, as much as crazy as the movies, live action movies may be, and where a lot of the new shows have come out. I think that's one of the things that I really like about how much we've learned about the Autobots and the Decepticons, that there is, like here on Earth, there is a gray area, and you're not really being good or villainous. Oftentimes can be a point of view. And I do kind of like that, though Megatron's point of view may be twisted, a little bit. And Optimus Prime may be a little too idealistic for his own good. I like the human traits and the human qualities that they add to the characters. I appreciate that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good to hear. I only watched the first couple episodes of animated. I need to finish getting through, because I did enjoy what I saw. I didn't enjoy some of the character designs as much, but I did enjoy the story that I was being pulled into.
The story becomes absolutely incredible, and I'm actually kind of happy because the Transformers Prime that just came out is actually segueing into another series based kind of on the Transformers animated aesthetic.
Yes.
And it's got a lot of the same people behind it, so I'm really hoping that it's just as good.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to it, but we'll see. I'm not going to say too much. It's going to be like me getting really excited over the new Star Wars Rebels show, and I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And I have to tell the story of you and me in New York and you buying the bootleg copy of Transformers.
I sure as hell did. That guy had a $5 copy of that DVD. It was a shitty copy. Oh my god, it was awful. And, but I watched that thing all the way home.
Yes, we were in New York for a convention, and we of course went into New York City proper. And we went into Chinatown, and of course everybody in Chinatown has like DVDs for sale, like shady DVDs for really cheap, and Bonk picks up the Transformers that had just come out in theaters, and he was so happy. And we had a 20-hour drive from Newark to Atlanta, and he played that movie the whole entire time we were going.
I sure did.
Was this just like a shaky cam? Just like I was sitting.
Dude, yes, it was awful.
It was awful.
It was so bad.
Recorded on a cell phone.
Yeah, I mean they've gotten a lot more sophisticated now, but I mean, woo, it was so bad.
Had all the sound and all the explosions muffled through a tin can. So,
people standing up in front of it and all kinds of stuff.
It's funny you mentioned that. Actually, Transformers were the first time I remember them carting people out the door to make sure they didn't have a camera with them.
Oh wow!
Yeah, gosh, that was a long time ago.
It was amazing.
It was amazingly bad, but it was so good.
So
it was so good.
So to bring it back to a little bit further back. Okay, so explain to me, because at one point I know that there's dinosaurs, there's Dinobots, I guess, and then there's Bugbots, and then there's other robots. So it no longer becomes cars. Now we've got dinosaurs and bugs. So what is that all about?
Marketing.
Well, the dinosaurs.
Exactly. That was exactly what I was going to say.
Marketing, but like in G1, the dinosaurs were actually created by this mad scientist robot named Wheeljack, and he was just trying to. It's like, I want to create pets for myself. This seems like a fun idea, but unfortunately, he forgot to install brains in them, and this is actually in the show itself.
Yes.
And so he forgot to install brains, and tragedy ensues.
Brains.exe.
I have to admit, I like, as fun as that origin is, my favorite origin for the Dinobots has got to be from The Fall of Cybertron. Absolutely, hands down. Love it. Because I came off of reading the comics for, The War for Cybertron, and it was so, like, those comics were so good. Holy crap, those were so good. But they already had Grimlock and the other Dinobots. They weren't called Dinobots on Cybertron. They were already there, but in the game, you find out that the Dinobots have left. Like, they're supposed to be guarding the Ark before it launches, because the Decepticons are just unrelentingly attacking because they're trying to keep the Autobots from lifting off. And the Dinobots have left, and you find out that they had gone on a mission. Like, Grimlock had decided they were going to go on a mission, and they got captured by Shockwave. And Shockwave, if you know anything about him, he's the last guy you want to get caught by, because he really is a mad scientist, but he's incredibly logical about everything that he does. So when he gets his hands, and this is spoilers for those people that have not played Fall of Cybertron, so I really do apologize. So spoiler alert. Shockwave has been watching a planet through his space bridge, and that planet is Earth. And he has decided, because he wants to further his knowledge of these things, he took the Dinobots and he turned them into what the Dinobots are now. And to do that, he limited brain functions. He did everything that we know the Dinobots, we know and love for the Dinobots, but he's the one that did that to them. And I was like, when I saw that, and they got me. That is my favorite origin for the Dinobots as we know them. I loved it. Hands down, loved it. If you ever get a chance to play that game, play it. Because that is as close to adult Gen 1 as you're going to get.
Yeah.
That's much better than the other one, which is just Joel in marketing saying, "Hey, robot dinosaurs, should we make some of those?"
Hell yeah!
Yeah, all right. Let's make those.
I'm gonna tell you something. It's the Transformers, and I'm pretty sure you could appreciate this within the pony fandom itself. Transformers has been shaped quite a bit. Now Hasbro's not stupid. Now they'll protect their stuff, but it's been shaped heavily by the people that love it. Like seriously, like. When I was a kid, the people that were kids with me, when they were growing up, now they're in Hasbro. Now they're the ones that are writing the scripts for the TV shows. They're the ones that are helping produce these toys. And the canon has just gotten richer because of it. And the link that I'm going to give you is actually of a young lady who has done just that. Like her stuff was so influential that she is actually now working on the show or something like that, or was working on one of the shows. It might be the new one that's coming out, but that's the one thing that I can say that I'm very happy about is especially with Transformers. Transformers has a lot to do with like the conventions that have come out and what have you. I can only imagine that if Transformers had hit around the same time, like what Ponies has done recently, that we might have seen another influx, maybe in a different perspective, in a different way. We would have seen conventions, and we would have seen a lot of the same kinds of stuff, a lot of the same enthusiasm. But the only thing that Transformers didn't have was the internet.
Yep.
And, you know, that kind of a thing back then. But it goes on to show that it had some staying power. It really did.
You could have Return to CyberCon.
Dude, that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. And you know what? As much of a Transformers fan as I am, I have yet to go to a BotCon.
Oh, I want to so bad.
I do too. And you know what? The killer was, apparently BotCon moves around. It was in Florida like a few years ago, and I didn't know it.
Yeah, they move every year.
Yeah, well, it was in Florida, and if I had known that it had been in Florida, I would have gone.
Heck yeah.
Let's see, is it showing that it's at Universal Studios this next coming year? Pasadena, California in June. Actually,
yeah, I'd love to go, but not to California.
Let's see.
That's too far for me.
So that's already passed. So it's so it was last month in Pasadena.
Yep. It was amazing. Blah blah blah.
Oh, is that Optimus Prime, Masterpiece Optimus Prime? I keep looking at him. He's hanging out with like Pinkie Pie there. Like,
I honestly don't know. It's certainly not Gen 1.
Is he 12-inch or is he?
No, he's just a standard size, but recast in plastic as opposed to the metal of G1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a cheapo.
No, dude, Optimus Prime is Optimus Prime, man.
So I'm trying to think. All right, let's do this to wrap it up a little bit. What is for the three of you, starting at 5 Iron? What is the coolest thing you have seen? Or well, actually, let me take it to this. So we have the movies. We've already talked about them a little bit. And of course, we've just had the most recent movie come out, which, you know. So the first thing I ever saw that was even Transformers related was Bonk the exact same pitch that he gave me, Pink, that he gave you, he gave me. Hey, let's go watch the movie. So just hanging out at his place, seeing the movie, seeing a Transformer pee on a dude, you know.
Oh, dude, don't get me started on that. You know, I'm surprised that it didn't start you off with the animated movie. That's what I probably should have done.
Well, I mean, it was fine. Just sitting there, but it was really just fun to see your enthusiasm for the product. You know, I remember back at your old place where you had all the Transformer comics pinned to the ceiling, and I always thought that was pretty awesome. As G.I. Joe and Transformers, and it was weird when you had the two mix, had that one little bridge area.
Well, you know, it was a really cool moment for Hasbro to combine these two products for Transformers and G.I. Joe. Like, seriously, I would have probably pooped my pants if at the very end of the new Transformers movie, like, seriously, we were sitting there and we see this really cool-looking, crazy-looking purple tank pull up, and it opens up and you see Deathstroke get out, And he's like, I've brought your new tank, Cobra Commander. And he's like, that's wonderful, thank you. And it transforms and it's Shockwave. And then that would have been it. And I would have been like, oh my God, I just pooped myself. I have to go to the bathroom.
Actually, that would be pretty awesome. That would be something where it could be... imagine if they did do that crossover. There's been enough of those crossover pieces, but if they just linked the G.I. Joe to the Transformers movies a little bit.
Dude, with the amount of humans that they have in the live-action movies, they could have already done it, and it would have made no difference.
Perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
It would make perfect sense.
It would have made perfect sense. In fact, it probably would have made even more sense.
Yes.
We'll just have to see how Batman x Superman goes and see if it makes a rash of crossover movies.
I don't have any hope for that movie at all.
Why?
I just don't. Like, the new Superman movie that came out was absolutely freaking amazing. The new Batmans that came out were absolutely amazing. The actor that made those Batman movies is gone. And the guy they replaced him with played Daredevil at one point, and that was freaking awful.
You know, Affleck, I really think Affleck can do it, just because I'm thinking about the Batmans that we got recently, and not to say anything, completely the Christian Bale Batman was more of kind of a psychopath that was Batman, opposed to actually being that kind of, hi, I've got two personalities. I'm Mr. Dapper on this end, and I'm Mr. Crime Fighter on this end. Christian Bale Batman was a whole bunch of just like, I was in a cave and I fought and these things, and I'm gonna, he had shades of American Psycho Batman to him.
Well, it's Christian Bale, though. I mean, he did exactly what they needed to do for those movies.
Right.
As far as the new Batman that they're going to be coming out with for, what is it, the Justice League JLA or whatever it is that they're going to be doing, I'm actually, maybe I'm just naive, but I'm positively optimistic about seeing Ben Affleck. So, all right.
No, and Pink's got to go so we can have her say goodbye.
See you later,
all right,
Pinkuh.
bye, guys.
Hey, you got to roll out. Have a good one.
Yep.
I'm positively optimistic about it because I've seen Ben Affleck in serious roles, and whether people want to acknowledge it or not, the man is good.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the ability to do it. He's a victim of bad decisions.
Bad decisions, and believe it or not, there is such thing as bad press, and he had a lot of it with Daredevil and the whole Bennifer thing 15 years ago, as if that matters.
Yeah, but I've seen him do good stuff. He can do. I think for the Batman they're going for, and thinking about who Ben Affleck is, I can already see it, and I'm excited. The person that I'm not excited about is who is playing Lex Luthor. Have you guys seen this?
I have not.
It's the kid from The Social Network.
I have no reference.
Eisenberg, yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg.
I have no doubt that he's going to pull the role off. Okay? Shave his head, pull the role off, that's fine. I don't see him I don't know. I don't see him as Lex Luthor. I just don't.
I'd heard some folks say Bryan Cranston, which would have been fantastic.
Bryan Cranston would have been perfect. It'd have been awesome.
Jesse Eisenberg. It'll be an odd choice.
Well, you know what, dude? Here's the thing about my opinion on it, though. It doesn't mean anything because I was one of those guys that's like, man, Michael Keaton is Batman? That's dumb. And then I saw it and I was like, Michael Keaton is Batman. Jack Nicholson is the Joker. I was one of those guys that's like, man, these are bad decisions. And then you see the movie and you're like, no, those were the right decisions. I mean, and I don't care what anybody says, but that kid who played the Joker, everybody, when they heard about him, they were like, no, he cannot play the Joker. Not in the new Batman films. He's not dark and gritty enough. And then when it came out, everyone loved him. Loved him. So people getting up in arms about Ben Affleck, you know what? Get over it. Wait and see.
I know.
Just wait and see.
I've actually heard some people, and this is the strange contrarian thing that I've heard. But some people actually state that even though it was a horrific movie, let's see, the one in the terrible Batman and Robin movie, what's his name? George Clooney. They actually say that George Clooney, for what it's worth, even though it was a bad movie, if you're looking for someone that plays the part right of being, hey, I'm Mr. Rich Pants, have all this stuff, able to be a crime fighter, he plays the two parts. Supposedly he did a good job. I didn't see it because I heard the movie was kind of crap. It was one of those where it just got too silly and too self-referential.
The Batman films are perfect examples as to show that when you hand the wrong director something good, that you're not going to get what you're hoping for, and that's exactly what they did. Joel Schumacher is a good director, but not for the Batman films. I've seen him do good stuff, like stuff that I was amazed. Like I would have never thought that he did the recent Phantom of the Opera musical movie. But when I saw it, I was like, wow, he lifted it up off the stage and put it in the movies really well. That was surprising. I would never have expected that from him. But I don't think Joel Schumacher had a good vision of Batman at all.
Well, I'll just wait until the day that Wes Anderson gets it, and then we can have...
Oh, dear God. No. Oh,
Wes Anderson's Batman. It's just all...
Wes Anderson's Batman, starring Mr. Fox as...
George Clooney, Meryl Streep.
George Clooney, oh my God.
Actually, no. Bill Murray could be Batman in that one.
Bill Murray at his age right now would be Alfred. But yeah.
Or no, you could have... I'm trying to remember his name. The... he's in a whole bunch of his movies too, but the not Robert Downey. He's the who's sweetie? Who's the dreamy kind of windswept blonde dude that's in a lot of
Brad Pitt?
Not Brad Pitt.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
He's kind of in that same vein of McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey as Batman, just like Batman. Hey, what's going on, guys? We're just on Batman. I gotta fight some crime. Come on, No.
I think if we had kept with Joel Schumacher, we actually would have gotten a Shia LaBeouf is Batman.
It would, yeah. Get Owen Wilson as Robin too.
Owen Wilson, yeah, definitely. They'd have knocked that out of the park, and that'd have been it.
Guys, look, we're all inside of the Bat Cave.
Wow.
Wes Anderson's Batman.
Could you imagine that? So I'm Batman. Okay, see, I've got to put my suit on, and I can't do this with you invading my space. Okay, I can't do this with you invading my space. So just back out right now, and I'm going to put my bat suit on. And once I get my bat suit on, then I will join you.
The Penguin is sitting there like, why is my name the Penguin? I have a Penguin Lounge. I have all these things. I don't have to be called the Penguin. It's not particularly a flattering name. It doesn't invoke fear or anything. I could be like the dealer or the master maker or something. I don't have to ascribe to this particular.
Can I just be the cockatoo? I'd like to be the cockatoo.
Maybe I should change it up. Could I be Mr. Freeze this week? Maybe you could be.
No, you can't be Mr. Freeze. I'll always be Mr. Freeze.
Well, maybe have you ever thought about changing it up? Maybe just not be as chilly all the time. You keep going on about your wife. Maybe you should just move on. So, yes, Wes Anderson's Batman will be a great.
I think
awful. Five Irons just checked out from this conversation.
I think he did. Oh no, he's coming.
He's coming back. He just couldn't deal with that conversation for a bit.
Sorry, real life behind me. I'm okay now.
That's okay. It's fine if Wes Anderson's Batman is a little bit too high fructose for you.
I can't take it. I've had enough. Show flip.
It's gonna be with marionettes. It's gonna be fine.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Like puppets.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on. So that's fantastic. Also, somebody listed here. Oh, I guess this is 5-Iron. Listed the Transformers MMO, Transformers Universe.
Yeah, one of my buddies, Clockwork from the Lunar Echoes podcast, told me about this. I didn't even know about it, and I've only seen a little bit of game footage. I'm liking what I'm seeing. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but it's like YMCA. It's like a running gun type quote MMO. I don't know how that's going to work out. It's still in beta right now, so I think it's free to play. So I'm going to give it a look here and see how it is.
Okay, that's cool. I'm grabbing one cool thing stuff for other people. All right, that's fantastic. So let me do that. I'm just going to give Pinkuh her DeviantArt as the thing. All right. There we go. Stuff. All right, fantastic. And all right, that's cool. That takes care of Transformers. Now I understand. Now it's all about role models and transformy things and whatever you guys said the past 30 minutes is the reason that you care about this property.
My sarcasm alarm just burst into flames.
I noticed that scowl. You're just like model figures and Optimus Prime coming back from the dead several times. And
yeah, 5-Iron. To be fair, though, he gets the same thing from me when he brings up ponies.
Pretty much.
I don't get it. I don't get it. But the thing is, though, is I'm not opposed to it. If you want to be into it, knock yourself out. I will support you. Go do it. Go have fun with it. I watched the entire 3 seasons that were on Netflix of My Little Pony, just to try and understand what it was that people were getting into.
How did you resist it? I don't understand.
What do you mean?
It didn't take you.
No, it didn't. The thing is, though, it's for the same. I guess it's for the same reason that most shows these days that they don't, because the simple fact is, I don't see in it what everyone else sees in it. When I watched it, I was watching a show, and please nobody take offense to this, but this is just what I saw.
I'm already offended.
I saw a show that was made for girls, or not girls, but made for kids, to show them how important friends and, when you say you're going to do something, you do it. Just little moral things that kids need to learn how to do. And if they're going to sit in front of a TV, you might as well have a show them if their parents aren't going to do it.
I think I hear you. Obviously, the target demographic is not a bunch of dudes, so yeah. I get you there.
Really, I think that this goes along with the exact same thing with the pony stuff as well as Transformers. The reason it doesn't get me is because I missed the zeitgeist. And I know Sabrina hates that word, but I missed that moment where everyone was talking about it and everyone was all up in arms, so you could just be part of this community of people going, "Oh, have you seen the thing? The thing is so crazy!" And
Dude,
and that was the same thing. I caught the inflection point with ponies where it's just like everybody's like, the thing, check out this thing, check out this other thing that's related. That was it. And for people who have caught it later, where the inflection point is kind of already went past, and people aren't trying to There's so much now that just it's too much to comprehend. It's too much to try and absorb it all in one go.
See, I don't know if I completely agree with the fact that people can't get into something after the fact. I think they can. Transformers fans are born every day. Just the same with Pony and other really popular at Star Wars. Oh, Doctor Who, definitely Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who. I think really what it is I think that the property kind of needs to speak to you a little bit, and if it doesn't speak to what you're into and what you enjoy, or what something that you want to be a part of, then I don't think it's going to grab a hold of you. I'll be the first person to say that one of the greatest things about the pony fandom necessarily is not necessarily the show. Okay, to me, It's about all these people getting together underneath a common idea and being able to put aside any kind of like things that would separate them and just hang out and talk about something that they're into. That is something that you can do with any fandom. Okay? But with the ponies, they've kind of gone even further with it right now. It may settle later on, and there might be little groups of like, oh, you're one of those ponies. Well, I'm not gonna hang out with you because you're, oh God, that face. Has this already happened?
Ooh, you're a gross bat pony. Go away.
Oh gosh. No, oh my God.
There was that nice 2-season period. Stuff has changed.
Well, please tell me it's like, oh, you're an Autobot, or oh, you're a Decepticon, but we can still hang out, or oh, you're Slytherin, or you're, Ravenclaw. We can't get along. But
you know what it
boy,
is?
those movies were good. That kind of thing. It's like
what
right?
it is? It's internal politics. It's internal politics with different groups. And that's really it. If you are on the surface and enjoying the show and enjoying what's being created, you're completely above it all. It's once you start investing stuff and you like get yourself mired into groups that it's then like, oh, that's where all the infighting went. If you are float above the surface, if you are the cream that rises to the top, you don't have to enjoy any of it. But then you get into the Twitter arguments with show staff about why said character shouldn't appear on the show ever, and it's just like, no, don't be that.
Okay,
here's my fan fiction. Educate yourself.
Yeah, that happened with comic staff where they were just like, no, that's the wrong way that character should have gone. You should check out this story I wrote, which should be considered canon. Done.
Some people do get a little carried away, and this is not in just Transformers or ponies. This is any fandom.
Oh, absolutely.
Any fandom, you're going to run into this. But it's but that's my take on the pony fandom. It's really no different than how I view really any fandom. I'm not for nor against. If I don't get it, well, guess what? Unfortunately, that's my loss because I don't get to partake in what you guys are talking about. I know a lot about it, but I look at it as I know a lot about it the same way a dad would know about it, who's not necessarily into the show, but because his kids watch it all the time.
And at least it's not like J.K. Rowling coming back after the fact saying, I should have married those two characters off. just to poke the beehive a little bit more. Just like, I made a mistake. They should have gotten married. Just so they'd just be like, poke.
I'm sure she was crying a tear over the fact that she didn't pair those two as she was rolling around in her freaking Scrooge McDuck house of money. Okay, I'm sure she was.
Actually, fun fact, something that separates her from some of the other content owners, she's given away so much money, she's lost her billionaire status. Now, she's going to make it back with these next couple of movies, but that's something I heard about her maybe 2 years ago.
Wait, she's got more movies coming out?
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
She's making the next thing of Harry Potter's.
No, stop that.
The next is Harry Potter's. That's how I heard it.
It's okay.
Harry Potter.
All right,
the re-envisionment.
Pottermore.com. They recently had something pop up from Rita Skeeter, the journalist in the stories.
Yeah.
And they're linking it to the World Cup stuff that's going on in our world. Because apparently the Quidditch World Cup and the World Cup coincide.
That's brilliant.
I know it is. They got the movies coming up for the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Some of those, lesser canon, but whatever. But Rita Skeeter talks about how the Potter crew are reuniting at the Quidditch World Cup, and they're in their 30s now, and there's going to be some more information coming out about this group in this Harry Potter world around July 30th. So that's coming up soon. So it may be more stories. I mean, come on.
So we might get more movies. Is that what you're saying?
I would say we get more books. I
hope we get more books. The movies were good, but the books were fantastic.
I love the books. So maybe I don't know. She won't say anything right now.
Well, I'm not necessarily opposed to it. So
if she pulls the George Lucas, I swear to.
I think she's British, number one, and I don't think she's going to do that. I don't know what British has anything to do with that but they can't do anything wrong.
The Harry Potter BBC series.
Dude, it's funny you bring that up. I am a proponent of, if you're going to put a movie out, why don't you film everything in the book? So like 10 years down the road or 5 years down the road after the movie has come out, you can just say, oh yeah, Harry Potter, the TV show with everything. I'm just kidding. They probably couldn't do that because it'd be like $100 billion just to make the movie. So.
Yeah, just do the TV show and do it BBC style, where it's just like, all right, time to go watch season 1. How many? 3 episodes? What?
Yeah, really.
Really? Only 3 episodes?
Thanks, Sherlock.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on, dude. Give Sherlock a break. Those are like an hour long.
Oh, and they're so good.
They're like they're like movies. They're like little movies.
Oh, they're so good. We could go on.
Are fantastic.
We have officially. I think there's no nerd thing we have not hit today.
Back to the Future.
Nope. All right, we can't. This will keep going if we could do this. You know that.
We will have to go back to the future just to recap.
Absolutely. All right, so let's go ahead and start wrapping this guy up. Let's see. So we got the one cool things. I don't have any of the donators. I don't think we've had anybody donate, but I'll check next week for our normal show. But also, if you want to leave us a iTunes review, you should do that as well. We're usually high up there on the What's Hot on iTunes, which is awesome. And thank you all for doing your thing every single week and leaving us a review. We are obviously in the 800 plus 5-star range on iTunes, which is still fantastic. And do it internationally too. I'll start doing the international call outs to you guys who leave us reviews in extra territories. But now it's time for one cool thing. There's some definite stuff that you should check out. In mine, we've talked about it earlier. It's the Star Wars A Lost Hope. Oh, Five Iron. The moment we're done with this show, you have to watch that. He is the greatest Jedi ever.
Like leave it on so I can see your expressions.
Did you ever see George Lucas in Love?
No, I wanted to see that. I still haven't slowed down to see that yet.
It's on YouTube somewhere. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Supposedly, there's someone out there that has a secret cut of Star Wars that they've taken all 3 of the prequels and cut them down to 3 hours. It's supposed to be fantastic, just because it's just like chop this up, chop that up, chop that off. There's only a little bit of the first movie and bits and pieces of there. Supposedly, it even takes bits from like the original series and cuts them in. And supposedly it's really fantastic, but
that's cool. Speaking of Star Wars, one last thing, and this is for anybody that may not know. There's a really fantastic fan edit of the original 3 Star Wars films from the remastered stuff that he did most recent, that George Lucas did recently, and it's Star Wars: A New Hope, and it's the Anduin, I think that's how you say it, Anduin Star Wars. And he has a lot of special effects in there, a lot of like new special effects, but it really does do a good job having the special effects in there, but maintaining the original feel and story of the Star Wars movie, which is unfortunately what George Lucas was unable to accomplish.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Moving in here, let's see. Pink, I just put her DeviantArt. That's Pinkuh at and by the way, Bonk, is it Pink 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 Ah?
I think it's Pinkuh, just Pinkuh.
I thought I had gotten into a discussion with someone that the other day of just like the correct pronunciation. I'm like, I'm pretty certain I had this before, and it was just Pinkuh, but
it's always been, dude. From the day I met her, it's been Pinkuh. She says Pinkuh.
Yeah, that's how I picked it up. Ask it without her being here. All right, Bonk, what's this you got here?
That is a fantastic link to Monster Boys and Robots. That is going to take you to a young lady who has made a mark in the Transformers world, and I believe is a part of the new comic books that are coming out today. And she got that way because of her fan artwork and some of the stories that she was telling, and she's very talented. Very talented.
These are fantastic.
She's one of the people that took all the Transformers Prime characters and basically designed them as if they were humans wearing knights' armors.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. Just go look through the Tumblr. It's really nicely done.
Oh, and she's got this nice little progress GIF as well, just showing the movement on one of her comic pages. That is really cool.
Oh yeah, she's very talented.
She was at BotCon, the Transformers fan experience at Universal Studios Hollywood.
That doesn't surprise me.
She's going to Fandom, or she was at Fandom. So, and she's going to be in. Hey, guess what? She's at TFCon this weekend. So there you go. All right, that's cool. All right, 5 Iron. What do you have?
Years ago, before I was doing the Pony Podcast stuff, I was playing City of Heroes, and NCSoft, the creators of WildStar, decided to shut that down. A lot of the players didn't take too well to that. After many attempts to save the game, they have gone through, a group of them gotten together, hit a Kickstarter. Goal was $320,000 to get rolling. They more than doubled that. And now they're making City of Titans, which is the fan-made spiritual successor to City of Heroes. And I mentioned that because, self-serving plug here, sorry, doing a side podcast called Freemcast, where we talk to some of the developers, or one of the developers of the game, and look to have that posted this week. But it's basically MMO, superhero-themed MMO made by players who know what they want to be in the game. So I'll leave it at that.
I will state City of Hero. I had both the City of Heroes and Villains, and all I really remember is running around as in that, going super fast and then hitting buttons that went wheem.
I had no idea you played that game. What server were you on?
Hell if I know.
Justice, Infinity,
Freedom. I played the game where I made 1 billion characters and never really played any of them.
That is playing the game. That's all Titus. How many characters how many copyrights can I infringe, and how many original characters can I not finish?
Just making a billion. I mean, it was really just like sit there and make 1 billion crazy characters. It's just like I can do anything.
Pretty much.
That about sums up MMOs though.
Yeah. I need bigger shoulders. Shoulders aren't big enough.
More pouches.
Dude,
I need the glowy purple.
The quest. That is the quest in World of Warcraft.
I need more of the glowy purple things. All right, fantastic. So that's your one cool things. You can always find that over on the show notes. That's over there at BronyShow.com, BronyvillePodcast.com. Attached to this, you can see all the links that we gave out for the show, so you can just follow along. Both the news, the MMOs, one cool things. Those are all there. It's time to wrap this up. Let's get this done. First off, let me go ahead and thank Jeff Bonk. You're a bro. Thanks for coming on, dude.
No problem, dude. I honestly didn't think I was going to be able to make it.
I was surprised, too. It was one of those just like, oh, I got to get Jeff on. He knows so much. He knows so and you have such an energy. Have this
I appreciate that.
This fun zen, too. So great to have you on. 5 Iron, good to have you as well, sir.
Happy to be here.
Even though I give you crap about Transformers and stuff, just because.
Oh, I've got plans for you at Nightmare Nights. You just you wait.
Oh no! I don't like this. It's gonna go bad. Oh, I'm gonna get attacked with either. So it's going to either be I'm gonna get attacked by Sonic stuff, or like somebody at Babs Con, you're going to assault me with Winnipeg Jets gear. Oh, there we go. There's that face. It's coming for me. All right, and as always, I want to go ahead and thank all the fans out there that watch the show, listen. If the stream unfortunately died partial way through, so unfortunately nobody's listening to this live right now. But that's what happens when I'm trying to push so much internet in and out of this house at one time. But thanks to you guys that are listening to this, a podcast form, listening to this on like Ponyville FM and Canterlot Radio, all those cool spots that like to listen to the shows. Thank you all. You can go over to BronyShow.com, BronyvillePodcast.com. That's the site. You can email across to us, and we'll get to the horse shows next week, so we're going to talk ponies some more. That's going to be Bronyville@gmail.com. You can join us roughly every Saturday, noon Pacific, at justin.tv/BronyvillePodcast. iTunes reviews, we love them. If you like this show, please, please, please leave a review. It's right there. It's so simple. It keeps us up there. We get to fight against Kevin. Actually, Kevin Smith has removed his podcast from that feed. So, but we have to battle against Chelsea Handler and a whole bunch of others, and we do a good job. So, please do that. My Twitter account is at Bronyville. My usual co-host is at Chef Sandy. 5 Iron. What's yours?
5 Iron Brony.
Yep. And Bonk, do you have one?
Oh, what? I'm sorry.
A Twitter.
Oh yeah, just Bonk's art.
Okay. And then let's see.
But it's not safe for work.
Yeah, watch yourself when you go there. Might get yourself an eyeful.
It's a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Gross. And conventions. The only convention I know that I'm going to go to is Nightmare Nights Dallas coming up in October. It's the horse thing. 5 Iron, anything for you?
We actually have a panel at BronyCon. Which is in early August, Saturday morning, 11:15 a.m., August 2nd, I believe. And then we're going to be, Alpha and I are going to road trip from the East Coast down to Texas to get to Nightmare Nights Dallas. And we're going to try not to kill each other along the way.
A lot of dudes sweating that car, it sounds like.
Yeah, yikes.
All right, and Bonk, you're all over the place. You go to a billion cons.
Well, I've actually pulled back quite a bit.
Oh,
My next con is more than likely going to be MFF in Chicago.
Okay. All right, cool. So you can catch us up there. That is all the places we will be, and we will be doing fun stuff. So, yep. Thank you all for listening this week. That has been FU number 13, Robots in Disguise. And next week we're going to do horses. So tune in for horse talk.
Horses?
Yeah,
horses in disguise?
Yeah, horses in disguise. Secret horses that turn into robots.
Does that mean there's zebras?
Are there any horse robots?
Not
there was
Transformer.
a dragon.
There's a dragon.
There's a dragon, but the only horse robot I know of was in She-Ra.
You got you. And we'll leave you with that. Thank you all this week. We will catch you all next week talking about some horse. Sleep well, everybody. Sleep well. All right, let me go hit the button.
Are we off the air now? Are we done?
I think it's still recording technically until he hits the button. So talk bad about him right here.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Already got one rolled up in my left hand. Pussy in my mind tighter than a headband. And my lungs got ganja in my sweat glands. This shit I'm on better than the next strand. Better than the next strand. She head down, booty popping in the handstand. Shine bright, I give your girl a slight tan. I make that pussy whistle like the old Spice Man. I don't even understand why she ever want a man. If she ever throw it, I catch it like a corner bag. Like a corner bag, that's an interception. You think you give a fuck, that's a misconception. Oh what a night, oh what a night. The roof is on fire, so what, I'm high. I say oh what a night, oh what a night. Yeah, she a bad bitch, all jokes aside. Look at baby over there. What's up, little mama come here. She started talking but I really couldn't hear. Till she started dancing like she do it in the mirror. She do it in the mirror. She do it in the mirror. She broke it down, started moving like she care. She do it in the mirror. I chop one, chop two, chop that ass down, chop that ass down, chop that ass down. All I want you to do is just drop that ass down, drop that ass down. I love back at it. Whistling Dixie, middle school, I was getting head on the 10-speed. Gigolo bloodline, pimping the red chair. Like I'm 28, so remind me of February. Then you can fuck with me, that would be never wearing. Dead ass rapper should've came with a cemetery. I am so cold, nigga like Ben and Jerry. Fill a nigga, kill a nigga, kill a nigga, obituary. My bitch is blurry, this bitch is flirting. I've been drinking all night, I think my skin is hurt. So I close the curtains on the 62. My ass and knock your ass out, you better stick and move, bro. Chain hang to my ding-a-ling. Chain hang to my ding-a-ling. To do a threesome, you gotta innovate. A leg so sexy when I'm in my train. Hey, baby over there. What's up, little mama come here. She started talking but I really couldn't hear. Till she started dancing like she do it in the mirror. chop that ass down, chop that ass down. All I want you to do is just drop that ass down, drop that ass down. I love that. She do it like she do it in the mirror. Be cautious, the movie is bigger than it appears. She speed it up and slow it down like she's switching gears. For the baddest one here, I tell her like do that down, do that down. You gotta stretch it out, girl, move that down. She bend it over, touch her toes, and she toot that down like hut one, hut two. Girl, who back down? Who back down? I'm back down. I can take a step back and send my cognac down.